The world you see around you is not solid, but a reflection of a frequency you have been taught to forget. There is a specific sound that echoes from the beginning of time which the Master Jesus used to command the very elements of existence. Most people live their lives in a state of spiritual amnesia, unaware that a single word in the sacred tongue can collapse the distance between their current struggle and their divine destiny. Today, we go beyond the surface of modern translations to recover the ancient vibration of Ahei. This is not just a name, but a biological and spiritual key that opens doors no man can shut. If you have felt a calling to something deeper, it is because your soul recognizes the authority of Jesus speaking through the silence. Prepare yourself to encounter the 7 truths that will strip away the illusions of lack and fear forever. The first truth of Ahei is that it represents the eternal state of becoming, which Jesus embodied in every miracle he performed. When you speak the word Ahei, you are not referring to a distant deity, but to the active presence of the divine moving through your own breath right now. In the ancient tongue, this word carries a movement that is both a beginning and a conclusion, signifying that everything you need is already in a state of manifestation. Jesus understood that the human heart is a temple where this frequency must be tuned to the key of creation rather than the key of survival. Many seekers spend years looking for external signs, while the Master taught that the kingdom is a vibrational reality accessed through the conscious recognition of E. By aligning your thoughts with this specific sound, you begin to dissolve the heavy layers of societal conditioning that have kept your inner power dormant. This is the foundation of all spiritual authority because it connects you directly to the source of life without any middleman or complex ritual. Imagine standing in the same clarity that Jesus possessed when he spoke to the storms and watched them obey his command. That same potential resides within you because the frequency of EHYÉ is the biological blueprint of every human soul waiting to be awakened. As you breathe in this truth, feel the weight of anxiety lifting from your shoulders as you realize you are part of an infinite flow. The language of the Masters is not found in books, but in the resonance of your own being when you finally dare to claim your divine heritage. Understanding these frequencies is the first step, but mastering their vibration in your daily life is where the true miracle happens. I receive many messages asking for the correct pronunciation and sequence of these sounds, so I have prepared 2 sacred guides to help you bridge this gap. You can find the link pinned in the comments to begin your practical journey today. The second truth reveals that EIT acts as a shield against the mental static and collective fear that often paralyzes our progress in this physical world. Jesus often retreated to the silence, not to escape humanity, but to recenter his vibration in the unwavering frequency of the Father. When we use the Aramaic word Ahei, we are creating a sanctuary within our own consciousness, where no lower vibration of lack or illness can reside. This is the secret of personal power that allowed Jesus to walk through hostile crowds and remain untouched by their negativity and limited beliefs. You must understand that your words are not just sounds, but architects of your reality, and when you misalign them, you build a prison of your own making. By reclaiming the word Ahei, you are dismantling those walls stone by stone and replacing them with the light of true spiritual sovereignty. This practice requires a shift from asking for things to becoming the state of that which you desire to experience in your life. The Master Jesus did not plead for change, but he commanded it because he was fully integrated with the source energy represented by EHYÉ. As you master this second truth, you will notice that your relationships and your environment begin to rearrange themselves to match your new internal standard. You no longer need to fight for your place in the world because you have found your place in the divine order. through the power of the sacred tongue. This is the activation of the living word that transforms a mere follower into a conscious creator walking in the footsteps of the great teacher. Your life is meant to be a testimony of this power, and it begins the moment you stop looking outward and start looking into the depth of Ahei. If this teaching is stirring a deep resonance in your heart, it is a sign that your soul is ready to return to its original blueprint. To support you in this transition, my guides explain the layers of meaning behind the first sacred words, offering you a path to clear the interference of the world. The link to access these tools is waiting for you in the pinned comment. The third truth centers on the manifestation of abundance through the precise resonance of Ahei, which transcends all human concepts of money and debt. Jesus taught that the Father knows what you need before you even ask, because the supply is already present in the invisible realms of light. When we speak Ahei, we are acknowledging that our source is not a bank or an employer, but the infinite creative field that responds to our highest vibration. Lack is a frequency of the mind that can only be cured by the frequency of the spirit, which is perfectly encapsulated in this one Aramaic word. Think of how Jesus multiplied the bread and the fish by giving thanks and connecting to the eternal supply that never runs dry. He was demonstrating the practical application of Ahei as a bridge between the spiritual substance and the physical form we interact with daily. You are being called to step out of the consciousness of not enough and into the expansive reality of the divine becoming that is always providing. This truth requires you to let go of your attachment to how things will happen and focus entirely on the state of being that EHYÉ provides. As you do these, you will find that opportunities and resources begin to find you in ways that seem miraculous, but are actually the result of law. The frequency of the Master Jesus was one of total trust, because he knew that the word EHYÉ was the ultimate guarantee of provision. You can begin to apply this today by speaking the word into your financial fears and watching them lose their grip on your imagination. This is not about magic, but about the alignment of your energy with the fundamental truth of the universe, as taught in the secret Gnostic traditions. The fourth truth focuses on the healing power of EHYÉ and how it restores the divine pattern within the cells of the human body. Jesus was known as the great healer because he could see past the appearance of disease and speak directly to the life force within every individual. When the word Ahei is vibrated through the body, it acts as a corrective signal that reminds the DNA of its original perfection and health. All illness is essentially a disharmony or a blockage in the flow of the divine energy that is supposed to animate our physical vessels. By consciously calling upon the frequency of EHYÉ, you are inviting the same light that Jesus channeled to wash through your nervous system and clear away the shadows. The Aramaic word carries a specific tone that resonates with the water in our body, restructuring it to hold more light and more vital intelligence. You must see your body not as a machine that breaks down, but as a dynamic expression of the Word of God in constant motion. Every time you focus on Ahei, you are reinforcing the bridge between your physical self and your eternal self, which is never sick or tired. This was the secret of the long lives and the miraculous recoveries recorded in the ancient scrolls that the world has largely forgotten. As you embrace this fourth truth, you will feel a new sense of vitality and strength returning to your limbs, because you are no longer fueling the frequency of decay. The Master! Jesus wanted us to walk in this same wholeness, and to understand that our health is a natural byproduct of our spiritual alignment. The fifth truth involves the restoration of your soul's purpose through the clarity provided by the vibration of Ahei. Many people wander through life feeling lost or disconnected from their true mission because they have drowned out the small, still voice with the noise of the world. Jesus was perfectly aligned with his purpose because his identity was rooted entirely in the frequency of the one who sent him. When you speak Ahei, you are clearing the mental fog and allowing your true path to be illuminated by the light of the ancient sun. This is the truth that gives you the courage to walk away from what no longer serves you and to step into the unknown with total confidence. The Aramaic word acts as a compass that always points toward your highest potential and your most meaningful contribution to the world. Jesus did not follow the paths laid out by the religious or political leaders of his time because he was guided by a higher authority found in Ahei. You are also a sovereign being with a unique melody to play in the grand symphony of creation, and this frequency helps you find your notes. As you integrate this truth, your decisions become easier, and your sense of timing becomes perfect as you move in sync with the divine will. The power of Ahei is the power of a life lived with intention and total alignment with the source of all that is. We are just scratching the surface of this ancient power. Get ready, because in our next video, I will reveal even deeper Aramaic codes that unlock spiritual authority you've never imagined. Make sure you are subscribed and have notifications turned on so you don't miss this unfolding revelation. The sixth truth reveals that Ahei is the key to mastering your relationships by seeing the divine spark in every person you encounter. Jesus taught us to love our neighbors as ourselves because he understood that at the level of the spirit we are all connected by the same frequency. When we interact with others from the space of EHYÉ, we are no longer reacting to their shadows, but speaking to their light and their hidden potential. This transforms every interaction into an opportunity for mutual elevation and healing, rather than a struggle for power or validation. The Aramaic word helps us to dissolve the ego's need to be right and replaces it with the soul's desire to be in harmony with the whole. By holding the frequency of Ahei during difficult conversations, you create a space where peace can prevail and where understanding can finally take root. Jesus showed us that true leadership is service, and that the greatest power is found in the ability to see the world through the eyes of the Father. This truth will heal your family dynamics and your friendships because it removes the filters of judgment and replaces them with the frequency of unconditional presence. As you walk through your day radiating Ahei, you will find that people are naturally drawn to your light, and that conflict begins to melt away in your presence. Visit Divine Light Academy at the link below to access my complete guides and start your journey into the living language of the Masters. But before you go, I want to hear from you. What did you feel during this session? Comment the word restoration below if you felt a shift in your energy today. We read every response, and your testimony strengthens this entire community of light. The seventh and final truth is the realization of your eternal nature and the victory over the fear of death through the realization of Ahei. Jesus proved through his resurrection that life is a continuous stream that cannot be contained by the physical grave or the limitations of time. When we fully embody the word EHYÉ, we are stepping out of the linear timeline of the world and into the vertical reality of the eternal now. This is the ultimate freedom that the Master promised to those who would follow his teachings into the heart of the Father's house. You are not a temporary being having a spiritual experience, but an eternal spirit having a temporary human experience, and EHYÉ is your true name. This truth removes the final barrier to your absolute power, because a person who no longer fears death is a person who can never be controlled or manipulated. Jesus walked the earth with a lightness and a joy that came from knowing his home was in the light and that his essence was one with EHYÉ, EHYÉ. By finishing your journey through these 7 truths, you have begun the process of total transformation that the Gnostics called the Great Work. Carry the vibration of the Aramaic word in your heart as a constant reminder of who you truly are and what you are capable of achieving in this life. The light of the world is not something you find, but something you become when you finally merge with the frequency of the great I Am. You are the living proof of the teachings of Jesus, and the frequency of E is the wind beneath your wings as you soar into your new reality. In summary, these 7 truths of EHYÉ are the ancient pillars of a life lived in divine authority, as demonstrated by the Master Jesus. We have explored how this single word can shift your frequency from survival to creation, from illness to health, and from fear to eternal love. The journey of the Divine Light Gnostic Academy is to bring these hidden treasures back to the surface for all who have ears to hear and hearts to feel. Remember that the power is not in the knowledge itself, but in the daily application of the vibration in everything you do. Right now, before you close this video, come to the comments and tell us, what did you feel? What shifted? We read every single response. And if this teaching found you today, subscribe to this channel. Every week we go deeper into the ancient frequency codes that were always meant to be yours.